Alright, I got a little Harbor Freight cargo carrier. It was on sale. I guess the regular $60. Caught a little sale price, $40. Hard to pass that up. So I'm gonna mount that to my van. Gonna do a little camping next weekend without the trailer, just the van. So we'll see how this goes. So it looks like it comes in about 2 pieces plus the shank. And it's nice and lightweight. I like that. It says it holds 500 pounds, which I don't plan on putting more than that on it. But, or getting even close to that, I should say. But I like how light it is because, you know, just a little less weight on the back end of the van. So I'm just gonna use it for like firewood and, you know, maybe a couple bins. We have a lot of storage room now in the van, so we have a lot of storage room under here now. So for short trips especially, shouldn't need to do much more than put, you know, just things we don't want inside the van on the hitch. So the center shank actually feels perceptibly heavier than one side. So it feels solid. Gonna load that guy into here, into my little swing arm. Obviously we're gonna bolt the 2 sides to the shipment center there, to the shank, and give it a go. All right, so I got the Hitch cargo carrier put together. Pretty easy. Everything fit. Only had to read the directions once. I'm just kidding. It's great. Seems solid. Fits one of these big tubs and 2 bundles of wood. Obviously, you could go higher on both of those if you needed to. Strap it all down. Looks ready to go. I think that's a score for $40. So it just goes together with 8 bolts. So you have these 2 pieces that kind of reinforce the 2 sides. There and there. There and there. And then you have, of course, the bolts that connect the 2 sides to the shank. As far as I can tell, man, that thing is pretty solid. Had washers for these smaller bolts, and then it had washers and lock nuts for these big boys. Cranked them down. Sorry. It is tight. And I was pretty surprised it even came with the little linchpin setup. Did not need to go buy or requisition one from some other item that I have from a trailer or something. So stoked on that. Alright, so the stats for this Haulmaster cargo carrier are 57 inches by 17 inches by, I think it said 4 inches. So not the biggest carrier. The Kurt cargo carrier I had in the past that I sold when I moved was a bit more substantial and bigger. Alright, so here you can see it's just a little bit narrower than my bumper's edge on each side, so I think that's a good ratio when it comes to maneuvering in tighter spaces. Alright, so the cons I can see about this hitch carrier right away compared to like a much more expensive Kurt or maybe some other brand, but the one I'm familiar with is a Kurt hitch carrier, is that it doesn't have you know, not a solid bottom, but a floor for the for the cargo bed there. So obviously you can't put, small items that could fall through or things that weren't secured in some format, which I don't particularly see that being a problem. But you also can't necessarily use it. I used to use the old Kurt one. It had a little perforated, looked like metal screen on the bottom that we could cook on it without having some other floor of any kind or support underneath. Not a support. We could cook on it because like utensils wouldn't fall through because of the little metal screen. Now of course you could add something to this. You could add a piece of plywood, or you could add a piece of sheet metal if you really were concerned about things falling through the bars there. But I'm thinking of putting an ice chest and a couple tubs, or a tub and some firewood, or just firewood, so I'm not concerned with things falling through the metal bars. The other thing is the shank is relatively short, so it's going just to this linchpin area here. If you have a van and you have no swing arm like I do there, and you need to open the doors, or even maybe the tailgate of an SUV, depending on the model, it might be really close to the back bumper, and with items on it, the doors might not open. You might have to unload the hitch carrier just to get to the rear door access. Now, like I said, I'm excited because the shank is shorter and I have a swing arm, so I don't need that extra clearance for accessing the rear doors. I'm going to have the swing arm to give me that option. Now, of course, when there's nothing on it, I presume most vehicles' doors are going to have clearance, and the hitch is always below the bumper. So, all right, that's some of the trade-offs you have to consider. There's no free lunches in life, as Mr. Thomas Sowell would say. There's only trade-offs. All right, hope that helps. If you're looking at a hitch carrier, I can't imagine how you could go wrong.